this is going to be a long overdue trade recap from a trade I entered at the end of October. It is now like November 19th today, so like 3 weeks later. So yeah, it was this gold weekly internal external trade that I longed. We had come down here into this lower weekly gap. To be fair, I'm gonna actually move this gap just up here for now on this time frame. It looks a little cleaner. Anyway, we tapped into these weekly gaps. We had SMT on the weekly time frame with silver, right? If we pop to silver, silver trades below Monday, September 29th weekly candle, Monday, September 29th weekly candle here on gold. We stay above that. Anyway, jumping to the 4-hour chart, we can see that when we dip down into that lower weekly bullish fair value gap, right, with these two big down close candles that are the order block, we then rally pretty aggressively off it, right? And this was the entry right here. And yeah, then we chopped around for like a good 1.5 weeks, maybe 2 weeks. Then last week we had a big rally. We fell just short of 2R, retraced all the way back to the entry. And then from here, this is where some techiness comes in, I guess. All right, from here we're gonna actually leave this time frame. And first I want to discuss something with this trade that I did not like by myself. When we scroll down to silver, right, the same time here, 2 a.m. on Tuesday, we tap the weekly bullish fair value gap, right, which on the weekly chart is the lower gap compared to gold, so more bearish. But then already on this candle, Tuesday 10 a.m., we've closed above the order block, right? So Tuesday 10 a.m., which is here on gold, right, this candle right here where my mouse is, this one right here, by the time gold is looking like this, silver's looking like this. I should have longed silver right here, right? And the proof is in the pudding, right? We tap the OB, we have the same consolidation, but lifted from where on gold it's inside of the fair value order block. On silver it's like above it and kind of like playing with the high of the order block. And then we get a nasty run on silver where gold also had that bullish run, but on silver it's way more extreme. We hit external, obviously would have hit TP, full TP here in the process, and we hit the external on silver, and then we failed to hit the external on gold before the sell-off. So now in that scenario, or in this scenario, we have weekly SMT at the highs, right? And silver having taken the highs, there's not necessarily the narrative to support the highs being taken on gold, right? We could say after this huge buy-side delivery that we could expect when there's a weekly SMT at the highs that is as glaring as this one, right? Especially with this long wick left, that there is a potential for this to sell off a bit from here, right? A healthy retracement. Maybe this monthly internal, right? So with that in mind, we can move to the daily chart, where coming into this week, we initially respected this lower daily gap, and then today we made a push into this daily bearish gap on gold as well as on silver, right? And that daily bearish gap is key because jumping to the hourly gap, the hourly chart, I mean, on gold, we can see today we push up into that daily gap, we drop a swing high here, drop a swing low here, push up, take the swing high. What's that? SMT, right? So what do we have? Daily key level, high time frame, or not high time frame in this case, the low time frame, but hourly SMT, daily key level, hourly SMT, and then we get displacement lower, and we close below this up close candle that pushed higher. close below order block. So we now have our key level, we have our SMT confirmation, and we have our change in state of delivery. It's a short setup. So what's the one time I can close trades early? When there's an opposing trade setup, right? That's the rule I have. I let every trade run, TP or SL, no matter what, unless there is a reason to trade in the opposite direction. Because if there's a long setup, and then like here, right, a weekly long setup, which is in theory at the moment still valid, and there is a daily short setup, those are two opposing things, like they're both valid. So this is where, like, from being more of a mechanical model, right, it goes to being discretionary in the sense that now the decision is on me to say, okay, which of the two do I prefer? And with the state of gold, with that weekly SMT, with the fact that I've been sitting in this position in the long for 3 weeks, and I've already lost like 10% of the potential gain for swap fees on Forex. I think $70 out of a potential 1,000, so right nearing that $100, right? Because like when you hold trades overnight, there's the swap fee that comes in. You know, it's not like a consistent thing in that sense, but like consistently over time it does come in. So the discrepancy between what I actually traded and what I would lose or win kept kind of eating at the position. So I was like, okay, this is my chance. I would expect this hourly bearish order block to deliver. So with that, on this 10 a.m. close below, we closed the long for a little bit of profit, and we set a limit here, and then price instantly ran to 2R, meaning the limit got canceled. It never got filled, but we did manage to use this to get out of the long, I guess, which again, reverting back to my original point, which was also played into the reason why I kind of closed this now, or why I decided against the long in that sense, is because I really should have traded silver. But yeah, if we look at this, right, I'm actually going to go to the hourly chart. And I'm going to say, okay, wait, let me do this, right? And we go here. So 0.59R on the position was what we ended up taking, right? So like half an R essentially was what that ended up doing for us, which obviously isn't much, but it's better than no loss, which this could potentially be. I mean, this looks like an ugly wick in that bearish gap for potential continuation lower. You know what I'm saying? Also, what played into this as well, if we look at dollar today, what do we see? Well, first of all, we see earlier this week, we close above this bearish fair value gap here, retest the high of it, probably also the low of it, to be honest, and we continue higher. And then today, coming into what this dollar trade was, right, we were displacing on coming into what the gold decision was, we had been displacing higher on dollar. So obviously if we look at this, we could say, okay, well, at this point we expect the weekly external on gold to actually end up hitting, which means bullish gold still, which means bearish dollar, right? Wait, no, bullish dollar, which means bearish gold, which also plays into the decision of, you know, preferring the gold short over the long. I'm getting distracted here. I'm looking at euro because we did tap into that daily gap, but I mean, yeah, not really something that I'm big on looking at, to be fair, just because of what's going on. I guess I can throw this in here, right? because dollar obviously moving like that, you think, what about pound? But like, I don't know, man. Like, there's no setup for a swing in this, unfortunately. But hey, we'll see what we do on majors now. Maybe we get a continuation lower. Could very well be. But yeah, that's not really what this video is about. This video was about the weekly internal external for gold and it finally being closed off. It should have been a full win on silver, and I fucked up. The reason I didn't take silver was honestly just because I was hyper focused on gold because of the fact that it was like more bullish on the weekly. So I wasn't even looking to trade silver just because it was more bearish, right? Trading into the lower weekly fair value gap. But that notion of silver being more bearish should have been thrown out when we got this close above the order block before gold did it. So that's a mistake. And, you know, I've been sitting on this shit for like 3 weeks waiting to make the fucking trade recap. So finally I could actually do it. Because Lord knows, I mean, fucking knowing gold, bro, we might go sideways till like fucking end of year for all I know, bro. So, you know, I'm happy that this trade can finally be put behind us. And with that in mind, I'm happy to say, get the fuck out of here and get the fuck out of here. Alright, perfect. Also have like fucking 4 trade recaps for trades that I took after gold that already, you know, played out. I've got like 4 of those sitting here on my computer waiting. They're literally named ES hour for long post after gold trade, NQ hour for long post after hour for ES long, silver hour 1 long 3rd NQ, NQ hour 1 market maker sell model 4th NQ. And I'm waiting because I want like the trades in chronological order on my on the YouTube channel where I'm just like posting them to journal, right? But fucking hell, bro. Finally.